It's important to stay on top of what you are given. As like I've mentioned, time management is a big one for me. And in order to really stay on top of all the articles, because there are a lot of students, beat reporters relying on me, so I have to manage everything that I'm given. And in order to provide articles and news beats to other locations or to different news stations, it's important that I stay on top of that, because otherwise I'm not only letting myself down as someone in a leadership position, but also everyone else that I'm managing.
Welcome back to Live at the Hive. I'm your host, Janice Jokkel, and today I am super pumped to introduce to you our guests today. What an amazing story that we're going to hear. So, John, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
So, John, tell us, what do you do? What do you do before we get to the next step?
Sure. Well, I'm the advisor of a group of students, grades 6 through 12, called the Brunswick Schools Beat Video Program. Sarah Keller, who's our journalism manager, actually the manager of the entire program this year, she is one of our lead students that's involved in this program. But what we do is our students produce content about things, events, stories going on throughout Medina County. And they're each charged to produce 6 news stories and 6 videos a year covering all of Medina County.
Wow. And so when did this program start?
Our program started in 2000. It actually started quite innocently. At that time, I was the community relations person for the Brunswick schools, and I was covering a lot of what's going on inside our schools. I had a video camera. I would go into all the schools, and students would come to me and say, hey, that looks like a lot of fun. Is this something that I can become part of? And we took the idea to our superintendent, Jim Hayes, and said, is this something that you would consider us developing and actually creating a program? And he said, absolutely, because to him, the most important thing was if we can give students opportunities to build lifelong skills. He was all for it, and that's when the Beat was born, and we've been around ever since.
So, John, so it's a program in the school, but is it part of the school, or are you funded outside of the school?
Well, that's where it's unique. We are part of the Brunswick City Schools. We're an extracurricular. We meet on Saturdays between 9 o'clock and 5 p.m. So it's one day a week. We actually are working on, like Sarah and another individual, Ryan Helko. They're both teaching journalism and video production skills to our students. We have new students. We have veteran students. But then we have a studio with a set that was donated by Fox 8. And that set is where we produce, we do segments similar to this, where we're interviewing individuals from all around Medina County. So that's basically how we work.
Oh, very good, very good. So Sarah, tell us a little bit about what you do and why did you join this instead of going to play tennis or basketball?
So, as John mentioned, I am the journalism manager, and so my job is to teach all of the new beat reporters while also teaching our veteran reporters. For the first years, they're 6th graders, essentially. We get a few 8th graders that apply, but they're mostly 6th graders coming from 5th grade. And what I do is I teach them how to write an article. I teach them what a news beat is. I teach them how to contact someone, how to form the right questions, how to get good quotes, good pictures. And then for the veterans, we just work on refining those skills. And we also dive deeper into the technological side. So sometimes we'll go film like a basketball game or a volleyball game. But I actually joined the Beat when I was a 6th grader as well. So this is my 7th or 8th grade in the program, or 8th year in the program.
Wow.
And It's interesting because when you're a fifth grader, you're limited to what the elementary school provides for you as opportunities. But when you start to join middle school, you get that opportunity to join more programs. And to hear a journalism program and hearing you have the opportunity to be a published writer, I immediately jumped on that opportunity. So
Wow,
here I am.
yeah, that's fantastic. And what is the biggest takeaway from this program? What was the biggest thing that you have a lifelong skill?
I would probably say my biggest takeaway is time management. I have that obligation, as John mentioned, where I write 6 articles and I produce 6 news beats a year, which are on-camera interviews. So that is expected of me. But on top of that, as the journalism manager, I have to edit all the articles I receive. And as John mentioned, we have between 30 and 40 beat reporters. So as they produce all 6 of their articles, I receive those every 6 weeks, and I edit all of them. Because as middle schoolers, there are grammatical errors, there are phrasings. Sometimes they don't get the wording quite right, and that's where I step in. I show them the unedited version, and then what I corrected, and then so they can keep improving. And with that, I also write all the lessons that I teach the first-year reporters. So I'm able to use past material that we've created from past journalism managers, but I also like to add my own input as well. So it's kind of a lot to take in and deal with on top of schoolwork and such, but overall, time management is definitely a big takeaway.
So you do this on a Saturday. So are you employed anywhere? Like, do you work too?
My mom has a rule I'm not allowed to work during the school year,
Oh, okay.
specifically because my family is very education oriented, so she enforces, staying on top of grades, doing extracurriculars, but I am involved a lot with the school, so besides the beat, I'm also involved in the Brunswick's theater department.
Oh, wow.
I do NHS, I've done AP&WE, which is like a mentor opportunity. But
So what's NHS? I always stop people and say, okay, you may know that, I don't know that, what is that?
So NHS is National Honor Society.
Oh, National Honor Society. I guess I should know that.
Yeah, that's all right. But yeah, it's the volunteer organization.
Oh, got it. Okay.
And then AP&WE is associated with the advanced placement classes offered, and it's like a mentor opportunity for AP students to work with Excel students in Brunswick and to get, younger students' input as well. So I also babysit here and there, but overall, even though I might not have a job, I like to stay on top of being involved in
And
the
there's
school
nothing
and
wrong with
community.
that. Yeah, that's awesome. So the show is Community Connectors, the Words of Wisdom. And so I'd love you to end our show today with some words of wisdom to our viewers.
Oh, that's an interesting one. I would probably say it's important to stay on top of what you are given. As like I've mentioned, time management is a big one for me. And in order to really stay on top of all the articles, because there are a lot of students, beat reporters relying on me, so I have to manage everything that I'm given. And in order to provide articles and news beats to other locations or to different news stations, it's important that I stay on top of that, because otherwise I'm not only letting myself down as someone in a leadership position, but also everyone else that I'm managing. So,
Wow, time management.
yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. I know that you kind of scooted out of school to come to us today.
Yeah.
So we thank you very much. John, thank you. Thank you for being a community connector and doing what my passion is young adults as well. And just to be able to give this and afford and be the leader and forge that opportunity for each of them, that's awesome. So until next time, until we have another community connector in our chair, thank you so much for watching. You have a choice, and thank you for watching our show. Until then, toodles.
Armstrong is proud to support the community and local businesses. As an Armstrong Business Solutions customer, the team at the BizHive supports their community through Armstrong's high-speed internet connection and reliable service. Watch Armstrong Neighborhood Channel on Channel 100 or visit Armstrong Neighborhood Channel on YouTube.